Alright guys, so today we are going to start crafting a weapon. And then we're going to do some hand painted textures on it and have some fun with it. Okay. So to start out, I'm going to make sure I go up here, file, and I want to set my project. Just navigate to your drive and create a folder. That's what I do. And select it, and you're good to go and just set. This will help later on when you're doing image planes and stuff like that. It's just going to make your life a lot easier. Okay, so I got this concept here. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this guy into Maya, set it up, and then we're going to do a quick model of it. And then we're going to do some hand paint textures on it. And I'll show you some UV stuff too. That'll eat up less of your UV space so you can actually have some more texture density on it to get higher quality stuff out of it. Okay. So, let me close that out. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into my side view here. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to go to View, Image Plane, Import an Image. That's my concept right there. And it's there automatically because I set my project, so it helps out a lot. So I'll go ahead and click Open, and there it is. So what I want to do after it's in here, go to my Attributes pane, and that image center, I want to take that and I want to push that back. I want to do it on the X-axis. So you can just middle mouse drag or type in the numbers up here, whichever one you want to do, and I'll set it back. I want that because I want it behind the grid. It just makes my life a lot easier having to do it with that. Okay. Let's create a cube here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go at this modularly. So I'm going to start making the blade, and then we'll do the hilt here, we'll do the handle, and then we'll do the little teeth here that I got. So just put these back, the vertexes. And this has got a little bow on it, so I'll just do an insert edge loop. Let's do that with Mark Burger now. Bring that up, and you know what? I'll do another one right here. Now, when we're talking about modeling for games, you want to be as efficient as possible. So that means using your polygons wisely, using your texture space effectively. So I'm actually going to come in, I'm going to condense some of these edges down. Yeah, that's okay. But, so what I'm going to do now is, actually, you know what? Make my life a little bit easier. I'm going to take these up like that. I'll bring all these guys back to there. There. Alright. So the reason I did that is so I can come over here. And I'm just going to take that and do an extrusion on this, because the shiny part right here, I mean, that's going to be the thinnest part of my blade, so I want that to be nice and fat, and then I can extrude these guys out. Hold the Z-axis. back into vertex mode and I'll just take these guys to where I want them. Alright, and now what I can do is I go up to edge, and if you hold down shift in Maya, and double click on another edge, oh, I'm thinking about the wrong thing, oops. So we'll just shift click all those guys right there. And what we'll do is hold down shift, right click, we're going to go merge collapse edges, and then I'll just collapse them down like that for us. So we have that point, and it goes along with our blade. That's what we wanted. Take this guy in a bit more. Bring that up. Bring that back out. Okay. So now that I got that basic shape, what I can do is I can come back here and I can do same thing with these guys. Collapse the edge. There we go. And I could collapse it up here, but it's going to hold some of that shape I still want. I want to thin this out just a little bit. Yeah, cool. Alright, so let's start on the hilt. Let's make a box. I'm just going to extrude the edge up here, turn it a little bit. And we'll extrude it again. So I'm just blocking in the big shapes in right now, and then I've done that, I can come in, oops, insert edge loop, start doing my adjustments. Now I'm going to want to hold edge there, and I want to divot that in, so we'll go to vertex, bring that guy up, do that, bring that guy down, more. Let's do another edge loop here. Bring that down, over. Let's put a little bit more shape. Utilize these edges that we got going on here. All right. Yeah, that's okay. Okay. So now when I go over here, it's not going to look too hot. It's going to be all nice and square. I don't want it to be nice and square. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do an edge loop down this right here. Then pull it apart a little bit. So it's got some softness to it. And now what we do with this guy is, because I want this to come in, bring this in. Almost a point. And then I'll do the same thing. Double click on the edge loop, just like the whole thing, as long as it's continuous. We'll bring that in. We'll do a little bit on this guy here too. Alright, and I'm going to do a little something with this because it's boring. I don't like it. Just do that. And then take the face, and I'll just squish it in just a little bit. I'll take this guy and blow him up. And I don't want to take that. I don't want it to be as soft. Really soften the edge. If you guys didn't see how I did that, I'll go back and I'll show you. So right now you can see the edges, how they're really hard looking. So I don't want that. So just click it, hold down Shift, right click, harden soften edges, soften edge. There you go. You don't get those edge popping up as much. I think I want to make that area a little fatter too. Go ahead, get the scale, just a little bit. I'll take that out a little bit too. Just so we got a nice flow on it. There we go. A little anal, I guess, but whatever, it works. Okay, so next we'll do the handle. Okay. So, gonna make another box. What do we do this time though with this guy? Is change the subdivision to 2 so I can soften it up later. Okay. And we're just gonna do the same process we've been doing. Just get it back to a general shape that we want it. Just push that in a little bit. And I'm going to insert an edge loop here. And I'm going to insert one here too. Now I'm just going to, so I can soften that transition. Okay, now what I can do is, oh hey, extra box, let's get rid of that. So now what I can do is, since I gave this 2 subdivisions in every axis, I can actually come in here, and this is a cool trick, I like it at least. I just select these outer edges here, and grab my scale tool, and I do this. Shoop. Shoop. And there we go. Got a handle. And I'm going to soften the edges on this again. And that's starting to look like a pretty cool weapon. So, let's come back out to the side. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab these faces here. And I'm going to extrude them. But I'm going to scale them out. That. I'll just come forward a little bit with it. Now I'm not going to stay exact with my concept here, but that's okay. Don't need to. Those vertices. Try to get these flush with each other. Just pull them out. And just do the same thing we've been doing. Just do your big shapes first. Get this guy down here. Put this in here actually. And then I grab these guys. Do an extrusion. I'm going to flatten them out. Just go to scale and just pull it down. Alright, that's something you got to be careful of too. You see what's happening there? They're overlapping, so you get this little divot. That's okay for now, but when you're doing your modeling, you want to be mindful of it because it can cause some funky issues that don't look good. But for what we're doing here, that's fine. And I'm going to extrude it again, do a little rotate, scale it down. Scale it again. I'm just going to soften this transition here. And I can actually take this edge and I'll bring it up. Just enough. I'm going to put another edge loop right here. Because I'm going to soften that again. I'm just going to grab these edges here. I'm just going to pull them back a little bit. And I'm going to do the same thing with these guys here. that up a little. Pull this back. There we go. And if I wanted to, I could, oops, insert an edge loop. Oops, not there either. Right there. I could blow it up a little bit so the cloth part has a little bit of a flare on it. And I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to leave it. Just kind of gives it some separation from the metal. I'm just going to soften the edges on this again. But I want there to be a definitive line there. So go around here. And I'll harden the edges on that. So now that sticks out a little bit more on it. And that's kind of what we want. I don't know if I'm completely in love with this. Flatten it out somewhere. Yeah, that's better. Okay. So the next thing we're going to start working on are the teeth here. These guys will be just super easy. When I drew this out, it was just kind of thinking of just shears of metal. So we don't have to. We only need to work in our 2 dimensions on this. So it'll be nice. Actually, why am I doing that? And I'll gonna just go through some of the stuff later and show you guys about condensing some of these models down. I'm just trying to get the blockouts in currently. Straight the face. So there's one done. Okay, so what we're gonna do now is with these guys, I want them to have mirrored textures, specifically on. Actually, I want all of it to have a mirrored texture. So what we have to do to get that going on is we have to divide these guys in half. You see how they have this guy divided in half? Down the z-axis. We need to do that on this guy, and all these little dudes here. So, best way to go about doing that is what I'm going to do is I'll go through one by one, isolate selection, and show you how to do it with the blade. It's pretty easy. So all we have to do is we'll isolate selection in here. And we just got to do an insert edge loop. So, insert edge loop. We're going to do it right there. And make sure it's snapped to the grid. And then just take it off, hold down X, and pull it over. And it'll snap right to the grid. There it is. Now, that's something we have to do because it doesn't go through all the way because there's a triangle there. It's a quad now, so now what we have to do is we have to split. And I like doing the split polygon tool. You use whatever you want. The interactive. Go there, right click, and then I'll do the same here. Right click. And there it is. So we have to do that process with all these guys. It'll be quicker with these guys because they don't have the triangles on them, so it'll be quicker. Just isolate selection again. Let's go one by one. Edge loop. And then X. Snap. Hit G to activate the last tool. W, X. Oops. Okay. And I have to do it with this guy. Now, because that was the edge loops were different, even if I take this and snap it, it's gonna be awkward. So what I have to do is I have to flatten it out. So just grab your scale tool and just pull on the X, and then you can snap. Alright. So I'm gonna get these guys to thickness. Actually, I like the thickness of all of them. Maybe not this dude. Yeah. Let's make him a little bit bigger. Alright. So now what I'm gonna do with these guys is I'm just gonna take the vertices and pull them flat. And just merge verts. So now those guys are merged together. And then I can just scale this down so it has a better transition. I'm going to do that all the way through on these guys. So I'll probably fast forward through this part too. Okay. Yeah, I put edge loop in this guy because I had a little bevel on it. Something I'm going to do with these guys, so it doesn't seem so uniform when we do the split, and I'll probably not do this guy uniformly either, so I can probably take the edge loop out. I was just thinking about that. It's going to actually help the piece not look like it's mirrored over, which we don't want it to look like it, even though it's going to be it. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to scale this guy down, take this, and I'm going to move it over to this side here. And we'll take this guy, and I'm just going to move him to the opposite side here. Cool. Alright.